So I want to quickly just run through, we talked a lot around Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and one of the things that you also mentioned there was the store of wealth. And I think, one of the things that I just wanted to show some slides that I actually presented in Davos, and it was really the three things that we believe are important for a successful ICO. So the first one is an existing business. And, I tell the story of 2009 when I met Henny, and him and his mates were buying medical buildings. And I remember saying to them, well, why medical? And they said, well, no matter what happens in the world, people need doctors. And on top of that, doctors never leave their premises. And, the third thing is that doctors make, very good doctors, but they're not accountants. And I remember sitting there and thinking, wow, like that's like the perfect tenant. And I remember turning to Henny and saying, listen, can I invest with you? And he said, no, well, the problem is that it's only for friends and family, and it's $5 million each. And, so I unfortunately couldn't participate, which is really what they call financial exclusion. And I mean, that company today has gone on to be worth $700 million on the Australian Stock Exchange. But really that pain led to us looking at the real estate system. And I'm being very kind here. It's completely broken between the investor and the investment. There's fees all the way through. There's low trust. There's low transparency. And most importantly, there's no alignment. And we decided, our platform launched in October 2013, and we decided to just allow the investors anywhere in the world to be able to get access to the best opportunities, and equally for real estate partners to get access to global investors. We decided to answer a very simple question. How do we make real estate investing easy? Most people think of hassle, they think of management, maintenance, broken toilets. And that's if they're just doing local investment. If they're doing international investment, it's bank accounts, tax, structuring, compliance. And we decided to take that all away and allow people to be able to invest in England, Australia, America, South Africa, literally from $100 in many instances. And most importantly, just be able to look at the best returns. Whether people want to invest in America, England, Australia, and or South Africa, they no longer have to choose. And what's interesting is that there's platforms all over the world, because it's fairly obvious that technology is going to disrupt the space. What we thought, though, is, I caught an Uber this morning, and every time I go to a different country, I don't want to have to download a different app. And on top of that, I don't want to have to manage my global portfolio on multiple different platforms. So we really decided that Wealth Migrate was required to create the global real estate marketplace. And, behind the scenes, we've built all the big data and the algorithms to help people know where to invest, when to invest, what to invest, who to invest, and how to invest. And that's already all been built on the blockchain. So this is not a case of what we want to do or a white paper. And, that's something that I believe really is something that differentiates us. And on top of that, if you look at the demand, and I'm actually wrong, I've got 107 countries there, but Kevin informed me we're now up to 109 countries this morning. So, 109 countries around the world. We've got investors from 46 countries. This is an operational platform that has a lot more to it in terms of its growth and its scale. And what's fascinating is that we've actually only really spent marketing money in South Africa and China. So there's 44 other countries that have participated, and that's what you were talking about with the network effects. We also, last year, from a financial perspective, our revenues were over $1 million, and this year we're on track for north of $2 million. The second thing to look for, and you spoke a lot about this, Richard, is the team. And we've worked really hard to balance the team. So if you look at the marketplace here, Justin Clark actually started private property in 1997, and has built marketplaces in 18 different countries. Joyce Scoffler is one of the leading ladies in fintech in America. Paul Niederer actually ran the oldest equity crowdfunding platform in the world and is known around the world as Mr. Compliance. Dr. Dolph de Roos is internationally recognized in the education space, and actually wrote Real Estate Riches, which is part of the Rich Dad Poor Dad series. Henny and Peter both come from they're both in their 60s and have nearly 40 years or more of experience in real estate, and particularly commercial. And then what we're really excited and grateful for is David, Richard, and Michael are all advising us on how to really take this opportunity and to maximize upon where it is. When you look at the growth, it's been amazing, the viral effects that have been happening even in the last 12 months. And you can see, I mean, we're literally growing at 63.9% per month over the last 12 months. And then on the transaction side, that's where people are physically investing. And you can see that quarter on quarter, obviously we haven't finished quarter 4, but quarter on quarter they're growing in terms of where they are. In terms of the existing real estate, there's a track record of performance basically, and you can see here between 10%, 11%, 8.49%, 8.29%, and what most people don't know is they can actually invest using Bitcoin. So anywhere in the world, they can actually participate in that. And then the last thing that I think is really important is ultimately down to supply and demand, and that's how, really it's simple economics 101. Peter Diamante says the world's biggest problems are equally the world's greatest opportunities. And when you look at it, 49% of the world's wealth is held in real estate, and yet only 12.9% of the world's population actually has access, to that real estate. And of that 12.9%, less than 1% of us in the Western world, so that's in England, Australia, and America, will actually retire wealthy. And we actually believe that it's disgusting and that it's time to change that. And so, really what we wanted to do through the platform was empower the 99% to be able to invest like the top 1%, in the same type of assets as the top 1%. Our vision is to get investing down to as simple as a swipe of a finger and to make it from as little as $1. And now people can hopefully understand why the cryptocurrency and the blockchain becomes so essential, because it not only enables trust, but it drops the friction costs to enable this to happen. A lot of platforms out there are talking and they write a nice white paper and they're going to change the world and they're going to fundamentally shift things. But what I think is really, really important is that there's a few platforms that have actually done it already, and most importantly have a footprint already on 5 continents. And I wanted to share with you a short video which really will highlight the future, where we're going, and why the coin plays, why the WealthE coin plays such an integral part in solving the greatest challenge on the planet. So, sorry, where's it gone now? Oh, no. So, sorry, the video, I'm not actually going to play. I thought the video was coming up. So, I mean, really for us, what's exciting when you look at the emerging world, this is where the opportunity lies. If you look at the growth in China and the 400 million people that have joined the Chinese middle class, they are the ones that have dramatically impacted the global economy. And if you look at these regions that we're focusing on, and where there's population growth, urbanization, and internet adoption, over the next 10 years, 1.2 billion people are going to be joining that middle class. When you look at capital flows and investment in real estate, there's billions of dollars every single year, and yet it's still the top 1% of the top 1%. We're interested in helping the middle class and the 99% be able to participate. And there are hundreds of millions of people who have a problem that need a solution. And really, that's where the WealthE coin came in, because it provides people with something that they understand. If you're a goat herder in Africa, a rice farmer in China, a rickshaw driver in India, or even an investment banker in New York, you all understand the value of real estate. Whether or not you had access to it or not, that's a separate conversation. And so this allows, from a mass adoption perspective, it allows people to be able to understand it. Everyone understands the value of real estate. Just to give you some of the components around the game theory and the gamification, when you look at education as an example, there's been massive adoption in online education. But when it comes to investing, there's been large growth, but actually not mass adoption. And we believe that gets solved, and trust gets solved by bringing the two together. And so one of the things that's really important for us with the Wealth University is that we literally have gamified the entire process, so that people that are learning about how to invest in real estate, or how to invest overseas, or how to get into commercial, they will actually get coins all the way through the process. They'll get WealthE coins all the way through the process. And this is just one leg. So you've got education, you've got investment, you've got due diligence, you've got community engagement like we're on tonight, and or you've got purpose. And these are all ways that within the ecosystem are going to ultimately unlock the ecosystem. And I think this here is really quite a complicated overview of what Jaco Moritz put together. But you can see Wealth Migrate, the platform. You've got the WealthE exchange. What people don't realize is that we can work with all the crowdfunding sites around the world. We can work with Proppy, we can work with Real, and ultimately we can create a trusted global real estate marketplace where people can actually come together and be able to invest not only locally but internationally.